So,
Hello.
hello. Hello. Am I
No,
talking to
you're talking
you
to
or am I
everybody. You're
talking
talking
to
to
our
the
audience?
audience.
Okay, so
Hello.
hello. It's been like a full week that we've been working from home, and it's been quite the change on top of everything that's going out, everything that's going on in the world. I know that everybody is stressed out and kind of anxious, and we really just wanted to provide an outlet to talk about what it's like to work from home when you're not used to it. Maybe if you are used to it, what are some tips we can glean from that?
Yeah,
Um,
it's been wild. It's been a whole
yeah,
new world for me. I mean, I used to try it back in the day when I, would freelance some projects, and I didn't have much success then because I feel like a lot of things would like pull my attention other directions. So
hmm
I've actually, we've kind of talked about it a little bit leading up to this. But like you had kind of mentioned earlier to me when we were talking before we hopped on, just having like a dedicated space that's like where you are working from is like really
yeah.
helpful because I was
Here, I'll see if I can turn my computer
okay.
around. Those are my board games. Nope, I'm plugged in. Those are my board games, but I've got my like workspace
I can't.
here. I set up
Yeah,
plants and everything around me, and it's in my guest room. I've got all the doors in here shut, so I can actually focus on work, which is
yeah. I
awesome.
mean, I'm kind of in my living room, as you can kind of see, just like a little pan around. So this is where I spend most of my time when I am
Nice.
not. I got this big like Mac. I can't really move it around as easily as you were able to move yours.
Yeah,
But
that's fair.
but yeah, I'm working from here, and it's it's been fun. It's been something to get used to. Of course, the first day I had to bring all my stuff over from the office and get it set up, so you almost lose a day there. But now that like the day after I was all set up was probably one of my most productive days. We had just released that "Hey You Rollin'," or I think we're releasing that today, possibly. I don't know. Oh, it's out right now. See, there you go. I'm just like in my own. Been trying to set this up all day, but yeah. I edited that "Hey You Rollin'." I got a bunch of stuff done the first day. Got some logos we're working on, so I kind of hit my stride. But it has its challenges still. Like yesterday, it was hard to pull myself away and just be like, okay, let's get focused.
Yeah, I'm having a lot of trouble like not checking, like not just Facebook, but the news every 15 minutes. So one of the things that have really helped me, and I preach about this religiously around the office too, is the Pomodoro technique. I know that Ross, he works with us. He uses it a lot too. It's been really helpful to me. And if you haven't heard of it, it's just it's a technique formed around a tomato timer, a Pomodoro timer. You basically set a timer for 25 minutes and work uninterrupted, and then take a short break. Do that 3 or 4 times, and then after that, you get a longer break. So it really makes the day pass a lot more quickly, and it keeps me focused. And then in those 5 minute breaks, I can, check social media or get up and take the dogs out or, get a snack or
Yeah,
whatever.
I mean, Ross used to talk about that when we shared an office over at Crocker Law Firm. Just, when we were all in that like tight little space, it was, we put on our noise canceling headphones and you'd kind of work for your allotted amount of time. And then you'd have your few minutes to kind of like look around the room and walk about and do what you need to do. So it is a really effective way. And it sounds, like how effective could it be? But I started using it, and I mean, like the days that I actually remember to like start that timer and start using it, like I can see my productivity go up like tenfold. So yeah,
Absolutely. It's
yeah,
rocking. I do have to say that I miss you guys
yeah,
though. I miss like hanging out and seeing
yeah. It
everybody.
is funny, like I think that we are lucky in that you obviously have your husband. I have Swindle, and his partner Angela comes over. So we have that companionship. I know there are probably a lot of people out there that could just have nobody, like they're just by themselves, and that would drive me up a
hmm
wall. So it's
Yeah.
nice to have people to kind of get away to. But yeah, I miss all you guys as well. I joke, but I probably get more done because I'm not around you guys. But no, I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
But
yeah. But we collab like we're just so collaborative. Like the whole office is. The other day, we use Slack
mhm.
to communicate, and I guess we had some free upgrade
Yeah.
or something. And you tried to call. Was it Austin? You just
I
tried to
just
call
I just
Austin,
didn't know
and
what it was. I got a notification on Slack that we had been upgraded, and I guess that Austin decided he needed to upgrade it to work with Ross on a website they're getting designed. So I just got this notification on Slack, and I was like, "Well, what does this entail? What does this give us?" And then I was like, "Oh, it has like up to 15 people calls." So I just randomly hit like start a call, and then John was on, and then everybody else was just kind of hopping in, and it was fun to see everybody because it's like at that point it had only been like 3 days, but it's like wild to think
hmm
about, you know?
oh yeah, well, it ended up being a 45-minute conversation where we got a lot of work
Hmm.
done. So
Yeah, we planned a lot of stuff out, and that's what it's about, you know. Like, it's cool to have your own space to get stuff done, but like a lot of ideas, especially in our industry, are just like bouncing off of each other and kind of going back and forth to figure out the best solutions. So, that's another fun tip there on top of the Pomodoro technique is like, making sure you are keeping in contact depending on the industry you're in because you want to be able to bounce things off each other and come up with the best effective ways to come about things. I know that video I edited the first day I spoke of the Hey You Rollin', like I was able to send that off to Nick through WeTransfer and kind of get his input on it, and he color corrected it for me and sent it back, and it was just like it's fun to see that like we can use technology to, even though we're distancing ourselves and even though we're staying safe, we can still get a lot of work done just by using everything that's available to us. I mean, it's wild to think that if this would have happened years and years ago, it just would have shut down everything completely.
yeah, I'm counting my blessings because my job relies on the internet. So if the internet ever goes away, I'm kind of up
Hmm.
the creek. But it also, like right now, I can do it pretty much from anywhere as long as I have access to, like we've got WeTransfer and Dropbox. We can collaborate via Slack, and I can do all of my social media posting and scheduling, obviously through social media channels. So it's not been too difficult of a transition for me work wise. I think the social aspect is what's kind of getting to
Hmm.
me the most. And like not wanting to, I'm really trying to wear adult clothes and not just stay in my PJs all
Yeah,
day.
I'm like the top half of me is work attire, but I gotta say it's been awesome to be able to just wear like basketball shorts all the time. Like I don't wear those to work a lot, so it's kind of nice to just be relaxed. But I will say, yeah, you can't just like sit around in your underwear, because you're just gonna fall into that mindset.
Yeah, and that's why it's so important, like for me, to have like we talked about the dedicated space to wear like the clothes that I would usually wear to work. If you work in a workplace where you have to be super dressed up all the time, obviously don't do that. But put on some pants, and then also just trying to keep a routine. That has been difficult for me as well. I usually wake up at 7:30 and I'm at work by 8. Earlier in the well, no, I don't wake up at 7:30. I wake up at 6:30 and I'm at work by 8. Lately, I've been waking up at 7:30 and trying to start working around 8. This morning, I started working around 8:30, and
Yeah,
it's just throwing me off. It's throwing me
yeah,
off my
it
game.
starts to slip. I mean, the cool part is you don't have that commute to work. Like you had to usually wake
Yeah.
up and, I know we both have dogs. Mine is sleeping over my shoulder, if I can figure out how to point there. So, and honestly, I thought she was going to have an easier time having us around, but I think like having us around and not paying attention to her because we're working is ultimately harder on her. Like, because she just feels like she wants our attention and she's not just sleeping for, 8 hours. But she'll get used to it. It's all an adjustment. It's like they don't know what's going on. They don't know anything's different. So, but
I have been like the amount of pictures I've been taking of my dogs has increased probably 500% because they're always doing
yeah,
something cute. They like cuddle or want a wizard. We have a Westie, but he's like big. He's you can't tell how long he is, but he's so
It's
long,
a
too
long
long
boy.
for a dog. And he wants to hop up in my lap while I work, which is very difficult. So I'm like typing on a keyboard like this, but whatever. I still get the
That's
work
all that
done.
matters, you know. Sometimes you need that companionship, you know. They know that you need that that love. Then, so
Yeah,
what have,
yeah.
outside of work? What have you been doing to keep your sanity?
Drinking
Drinking
wine.
wine, okay.
Not a ton, but a glass or
Not an
two every
unhealthy
night.
amount. Just yeah.
No, we've been playing a game called Terraria a lot. It's kind of like 2D Minecraft. Minecraft has those like kind of like low
Yeah.
quality graphics, but it's 3D. This is 2D, so it's like pixel game, the pixel art style, and you can like build a world and go mine for stuff and grow things. And I know you've been playing something kind of similar
Yeah,
to
I've
that
been
too.
playing Stardew Valley, but it's funny because like I think I just need it at this point. Like, look forward to clocking out just so I can kind of forget about everything that's going on. You
Yeah.
keep you keep in touch with it as much as needed, but it's easy to just focus on only that, and sometimes you just need something to pull you out of it. So yeah, I think it's good to have a hobby or a craft, whether that's playing a video game or the past few days it's been so rainy and disgusting here that like that's what's killing me the most. Like I would love to go outside and throw the ball, yeah, take a walk or throw the ball to Frankie for a while or something, and you're just not able to do that. So hopefully, I think the forecast doesn't look great, but hopefully that changes and we start getting some sun.
Yeah, I may just learn to deal with it and walk in the rain.
But
I've also thought about just like going out on my front porch and playing music for the
yeah.
neighbors. Not that I can play any instruments, but just like taking my little portable speaker out there and being like, "Here's some crowded house," or whatever.
Yeah,
I
it
don't
is
know.
funny. I have this like I'm gonna see if I can turn it. My desk, being in my living room is, hold on one second. It's like right by the door, so you can kind of see like that is like the it's kind of blown out right now because there's a lot of light out there, but that's like my front door, so like that sees the street, and I just like have just been kind of leaving that open to have some sort of natural light coming in. Today it's nice enough that we have all the windows open, but I keep it open
Nice.
so that vitamin D, I guess, is what it is. Maybe comes in a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
but also it's interesting to see how many people are like in between the downpours of rain, like walking around or riding a scooter up and down the street. You don't see that much, which is kind of cool, but.
No, yeah, I think everybody's just kind of like
Yeah.
squirrely, if that's the right word for it. I know I've been feeling kind of cooped up, so anytime I can get outside, I want to do that. We have behind me, you can see I have. This is part of
Yeah,
our
that
impressive
is
collection
that
of
is
board
quite
games.
impressive.
It's pretty intense. So we have a lot of board games. We joke that once we get sick of Terraria, we'll start playing board games. We also do puzzles, watch movies, TV, and then I think something that's been a really good outlet is just talking about what's going on, because it's
Yeah.
crazy, and just having somebody to be like, yeah, this is not normal, but we'll get
Yeah.
through it. It's
It's
helpful.
funny. I always see like the neighbors, like the all the neighbors have dogs, or the neighbors behind us will smoke cigarettes out back, and it's funny seeing them because like you check in with people, but
Yeah,
everybody's kind of got their own take on what's going on, but it is important. Like I was just talking to them. It's going to be interesting to see not even the economic impact this is going to have, but just like the social impact it's going to have on people. Like, uh, but we don't
yeah.
need to dwell on that. We just need to hope that we all get through it. So,
Right. It's hard. It's difficult, but I'm really just trying to take like a day at a time. I start my day with a good to-do list, and then I look forward to the relaxing things I can enjoy in the evenings. And I have also been watching Governor Bashir's daily
yeah,
addresses. He streams Facebook Live. I think it's 5 o'clock Eastern, but 4 o'clock Central. So
yeah.
our time is 4 o'clock. And he's been so reassuring. Like I just want him to coach me through all of my life's problems after.
Yeah, I've been actually turning to those as well because even though he's given information that we might not want to hear, He's doing it in just like a really calm way, and I think a lot of people appreciate that, but I hope people appreciate that because I don't think many other states are getting that kind of care and handling, presenting the information to the public.
Yep. Yes. I think the website is kycovid19.ky.gov. If anybody wants to check it out and
And
hasn't
it's
checked it out
usually
already.
streaming on Facebook. That's where I always end up. It always shows up in
Yeah.
my feed. Somebody shares it. So if you're on Facebook around 4 o'clock, chances are you're going to see it, whether it's one of the local news outlets sharing it or a friend or something. So anyway, speaking
Yeah.
of friends, we have some friends that have been working from home. And we're going to take just a quick break and maybe talk to some of those people and share you how their work from home experience is going.
So we are back, and we're joined by someone very near and dear to, well, both of us, but especially me, my husband, Matt Bittner. He is the owner of Morningstar Game Studio, a solo game developer, and has been working from home for like 3 years now. So we thought might have a good perspective on what it's like to work from home and how the adjustment process goes, because Lord knows a lot of us are doing that right now.
Yes. So, Matt, can you talk a little bit? You've been working from home for a little while now. I know this probably isn't anything different for you. Can you kind of talk about how it's been working from home and what your workflow is like on a daily basis?
I've been working from home for like Kayla said, three or so years, and it was difficult transitioning, I think, from like working with a team in an office building to working on my own. And I think the biggest thing that's helped me out is being able to like project manage myself.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think that's somewhat crucial, especially if it's kind of project oriented work, which is what I do, stuff that's going to take, a year or longer to complete. You've got to break everything down into smaller tasks or whatever, and then kind of like track your own hours. So I use a combination of like Trello and Google Sheets and things like that to do my own project management, my own scoping out of how long different tasks will take, and try to stay on some kind of schedule or something like that. So my day pretty much consists of going through those tasks and just like knocking them out hour by hour.
Right on. So you kind of use, like you said, a spreadsheet or like a task management software like Trello to make sure you kind of have your stuff charted out for the day and kind of knock it out piece by piece.
Yeah. I find that I don't always do that. Having done it for 3 years, I've definitely slid in and out of the habit of actually making a plan and committing to various tasks at various deadlines and things like that. And I get a lot more work done and a lot better work done when I do commit to when I set myself deadlines and when I set up tasks for myself.
That's right.
Yeah, so I am more, I don't know, traditional, I guess. I write a lot of to-do lists down, like handwritten to-do lists. But because we're working collaboratively, and everybody at Sublime needs to know what we're each working on right now, I've been trying to use Trello more often. But I just can't seem to get like the best workflow in Trello for me. Like, I don't really know should I organize it by client or by project or like, in progress, completed, upcoming. Like, I'm just not sure how to.
Yeah, I think that's kind of one of the things that's happened with me, working on the projects I have worked on for the past year or so. I'm kind of, we all work on stuff together with SkyPack, but I handle a lot of it. So it's been, it's up especially until we got Kayla, it was kind of where I kind of had to organize my own day in Trello, and it's hard because it's kind of like, why don't I just knock that out instead of making a card for it? But I think you find that like if you can lay it all out, well, when I realized that I started needing to use Trello is when I would think of something, but then I'd be focused on something else, and then I'd be like, oh, I need to do that later. and then later would never come because I'd forget it. So Trello was more or less a way of like a to-do list, and I would just I might not even put like a whole card together. I might just put in like, hey, this, like one little shorthand note to myself, and put it in like a separate list that is like upcoming items, and then as I kind of cleared off my day, I'd bring those over to the list that I call like today's focus, to kind of make sure that's what I'm doing for the day. So it's more or less just, you had mentioned, Kayla, that you like manually write out your list at the beginning of the day. I pretty much use Trello just that way, and it sounds kind of like Matt uses it that way as well.
Yeah, when I used to work for a independent software developer here in town, they used Jira, and you had like the concept of like stories and hours and milestones and all these different things. We kind of did a haphazard version of Scrum or Agile. And I find that like you were saying, if it's just some task that you can knock out and then it's done, that's not really where you're going to need Trello. Like maybe you don't make a card for that. Maybe you just do it. If it's going to take you the same amount of time to like go make a card as it is to just do it, don't really think for it. But it helps for things where I think, like you were talking about, if you don't plan it out in advance, you're going to run into roadblocks. Like if you're trying to edit together a whole video and you need to know like what clips you need to sort out, or I don't know, from a video game perspective, like what art assets you're going to need, what sound assets you're going to need to fully implement something. It kind of helps you figure out an approach to getting something very complex done. So I use boards, and I make individual cards on the boards, and those cards usually have checklists associated with them. So it just kind of zooms down from there.
And so working from home, and especially, you're kind of a one-man band with your projects. How does that work out? Like, I mean, because I know some people. I know you probably work a lot from home when Kayla's there, but the dog's whining. Something must be going on. Sorry. But like, how do you need that social interaction, or are you able to get by without it? I guess is probably the easiest way to sum that up.
I'm pretty introverted. I don't rely on a lot of social interaction. I'm not I'm not good with small talk, things like that. But after even a couple months, it became very apparent that like, yeah, you've got to talk to people. You've got to go out and you've got to maintain like social relationships with people, or you'll lose your mind. It can get rather isolating, and I think that's important right now, especially for folks. Like, get online, get on chats. Kayla introduced me to the whole Pomodoro method thing.
We talked about that earlier, yeah.
And it's been helpful for me lately. I've been distracted a lot with the news and everything going on. To help keep me on track, and then also like during those 10-minute breaks after your 25-minute breaks or whatever, being able to just like start up a conversation with somebody online or whatever. Like that's important.
Yeah, I mean, there's pretty much a way to talk to someone online for anything. I mean, there's forums. You're going to find someone who has a common interest with you. So I know, like, with your game, for instance, I think you have like a forum where you're even talking to people who are currently playing your game and interacting with them as well. Correct? Or
doing a Discord channel for the game. We've got over 500 members, and there's a lot of people in there. It stays, even now when the game's been out for about 2 years, it stays fairly active, and people still chat in there. So it's formed a nice little community, and that's a good way to, I don't know. If you've got any kind of work where you have a following like that, it's helpful to be able to chat with fans and just people that appreciate the work you're doing.
Yeah. Community building or community maintenance right now, I think, are so important. I mean, of course, professionally, but also personally. We're planning or trying to plan this weekend to figure out a way for all of our like friend group to get online at the same time and play Jackbox remotely. Like the Jackbox party games, you can play them, on your phone. So you technically can play them anywhere.
This is kind of off topic, but Kayla, I didn't mention this to you. You know Sebastian, our friend from Spain? I have a person I work with on artificial intelligence stuff. He was kind of a fan of the game, and he hit me up, and we do that kind of stuff. They want to get together and play Jackbox at some point.
I think you just
go to the website and everybody enters the same code or whatever. But it'd be cool. We could hang out with our friends in Spain.
Yeah, I know, like, someone was talking, we have a buddy who comes over usually on the weekends, and he was talking, like, Netflix even has that way to like watch stuff with people, so you can like start up a Netflix stream and like he's watching something with his family this weekend or something, and they live in Chicago. So I mean, I don't know anything about it. Yeah, I guess maybe they introduced it. Maybe they've been working on it and they just introduced it for like this. Yeah,
I think they rolled it out early this emergency, but it's really, it seems really cool.
Sure. But anyway, can you think of any other interesting tips you have for working from home? There's a lot of new people out here who are working from home. I mean, I know we talked about a lot, so if you don't have any, that's fine. But
yeah, I think when you work from home, you've got to. I've already mentioned kind of like managing your own time and managing like what you're doing. I think a tip for me is I'm very concerned about getting work done, specifically because I work alone, and if I'm not doing it, it's not getting done. Mm-hmm. Like no one's picking up the slack, and I'll feel guilty when I spend time on planning or things that aren't necessarily what I'm best at or aren't necessarily my typical job, but more of a management kind of thing, like a self-management thing. I'll feel bad spending too much time on that. It will feel not like actually working a problem or anything like that. And I think it's really important to keep in mind that those things are work. Like making social contact and keeping yourself like afloat and keeping yourself managing your time and all those things. Those are actual work, and there's no reason to like not count that against the actual work you got done today. Like all that planning and all those things are, I don't know, super important.
No,
I wholeheartedly
agree.
agree.
It's important to remember that is part of like even if you're just laying out the infrastructure or keeping that positive mental attitude, it is part of being a productive human. So you can count that as work. I agree. But anyway, I really appreciate your time and talking to us, and I know one day we are planning on having you on the podcast for a full-length episode, and I really look forward to that. Obviously, we played in Bass Invaders for a while, and we ran into each other a bunch of different ways. You played in lots of different bands, so we probably have a lot of stories we can talk about, and of course, all the stuff with A Robot Named Fight as well. I know that's been really big for you, and I'd love to talk to you about that as well, so... Cool. Well, I do thank you very much, and you have a good one. Stay safe. Wash your hands.
That's it.
Wash your hands. We are back with Clint Waters. They are one of my very best friends in the entire universe. Clint also works as an e-commerce specialist at Inked Brands, which is actually located here in Bowling Green. They do a lot of really cool stuff, and Clint usually works out of an office. Now they're working at home, so I thought, why not talk to Clint about kind of how that's been. Clint, hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you, baby?
I'm super good. We actually live like literally right across the street from one another. But we've been doing our civic duty and not going around one another.
As Amy wants us to do.
It's difficult though. How are you holding up?
Honestly, it's been really strange because I've realized how much I miss just like ambient people. Like I usually like in a getting up to go get a cup of coffee or going to the bathroom or whatever, like you stop and talk to people or you hear people talking. So just me being here in the house with Ghost, our husky dog, who is fairly silent at all times. It's kind of driving me crazy.
Yeah, for sure.
So do you go ahead, Kayla.
So how different, like it's your workflow than it has been usually?
Which luckily with our company, several people already work remotely. We have people pretty much all over the country. So our workflow itself hasn't changed a whole lot as far as, logging in, checking in with people, getting things done, communicating digitally, like all that is happening still. But the disconnect is a little strange. Like the people that I'm used to talking to face to face, only talking to them digitally now, like not having an immediate response to things. So that has definitely changed things a little bit.
Yeah, you mentioned like the background noise. So it's kind of funny how like that can help you focus sometimes because like I find it like I can sometimes like work if I can hear like a distance. It's like listening to a podcast in the background while you're working or something
Yes.
like that. So it is funny those little things you notice that are different. But have you like in your business have you worked from home much before?
Very rarely, just because I do live in Bowling Green, where our main office and warehouse is located. So this is new for me to do it so regularly, because we did it all last week and then all this week as well so far.
I'm glad that your workplace is allowing you all to work from home, though. But I know that
Yes.
something that you did before, but you're continuing to do now, is tracking hours. Do you find that that helps you stay on task?
I'm honestly not a huge fan of the tracking hours just because I find that it's more tedious than it is helpful. For us, it is important because we work with a bunch of different brand partners, so we have to allot time to like managing of their sites and their ads and stuff like that. So that portion of it is really important. But the actual like kind of like clocking in and clocking out, I got really spoiled to not doing that after doing it for so long, in other jobs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess that's a good point. You should explain to our listeners who probably don't know what EAT is and kind of what your role is there. I just totally glossed over that at the beginning. Sorry.
Well, so we are somewhere between kind of like an agency and just straight up e-commerce. Essentially, we partner with different brands, whether they be individuals or sort of like companies, personalities, things like that, influencers. And we order, design, for the most part, house, and sell their products. So depending on which client it is or what arrangement we have, it could be that, say we're selling a t-shirt for someone, that is us designing it, ordering it, getting it into the warehouse, storing it there, shipping out orders, all that stuff.
And like working from home, like that seems like it like you mentioned before, it is kind of a good job for doing that. Like you can work from home easily doing what you do. But is there anything you do to help keep you on track during these times? Because I know like if you're always home, it's hard to separate the work and the downtime. So how are you separating that?
That honestly, if you guys have any tips, I am all ears. That's something I've been struggling with really hard, just as far as that, not like you mentioned, not having that separation. Usually I can get up, get ready, and I'm at work for 8, however many hours, and then I come home, and those two things are very separate. So now it's, like cooking my lunch while I'm doing work, or, picking up and cleaning the house while I'm doing work. And I'm kind of a scatterbrained person if I don't get like laser focused onto something. So that's been something I've really struggled with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lists.
Yeah, exactly. Kayla, lists. That's it.
I showed this before, but I'm a huge nerd. I've got these. It says today's plan of attack. They're just like big sticky notes that say like there's a section for most critical would be nice, and because they're like humorous, that not a chance.
Sure.
So they're great.
It's more or less
But I also think like it's okay, like take 5 minutes and fold your laundry if like that's what you need to do to keep yourself sane. Things are weird right now, and this isn't like a typical situation of being able to just work at home, as normal, because things aren't normal right now. So I'm a big advocate of giving yourself grace. So if you want to cook lunch while you're waiting for something to upload or whatever, more power to you.
I think that that is difficult for me because if I'm not doing a million things, I feel like I'm not doing enough. So it's like it's sort of the opposite of self-care, you know. like the getting that thing knocked out doesn't make me feel better. It's just like, all right, well, now I have more things to get knocked out, you know.
Yeah, are you
Right.
keeping a normal like schedule? Like are you waking up at the same time you would have normally done and all that fun stuff as well?
Yeah, for the most part, I've been sleeping in a little bit just because I don't have to. I have a really short commute. It's only like 15 minutes. But that 15 minutes there and 15-minute back, you know, gives me about 30 minutes to have a little more, you know, roll around in bed and, you know, not.
Yeah, I hear that. I take advantage of that as well. Yeah, and like you said, you have a dog, right? Is that correct?
Yeah.
How is your pet taken to you being home? I know ours like it was a little bit of an adjustment period where she didn't really know exactly what was going on, but I think she's kind of calmed down. She's like over my shoulder right now asleep. So, but yeah, so how's that been? I mean, to be able to mess around with a dog and everything.
He hates it.
Just
he's not a like, you know, even when we're home, like if we get up to go do something, he's not like I'm going to be under your feet. Like, what are you doing? Where are we going? Kind of dog. He very much keeps to himself unless he really wants attention. So now, like, I'm just throwing his whole groove off. You know, he usually has a good chunk of time during the day to just do whatever he wants.
Yeah,
so,
I feel like Frankie's like ready for us to go back to work now. She's like, I'm just ready for my day. Hold on, we got a dog. It's blurry.
Oh no!
That's that blur the background feature.
Dang it. Well, he looks more like a ghost.
Yeah, he does. Fitting of the name, for sure.
Ghost is a good boy.
He is a good boy. But yeah, right now he's just laying kind of pitifully on the kitchen floor, sighing heavily because he can't get any rest.
So you mentioned self-care, and that's not really something that we talked about with anybody else a whole lot. What are some things, it doesn't have to be like work related, but what are some things that you're doing to like take care of yourself during this kind of wild ride of a time?
Today, actually, I did take a little time and I painted my nails.
Nice.
So, thank you.
It looks great.
Thank you, baby. So that was nice to just kind of do something that's, you know, I'm not going to see anyone for them to see it. So it was just for me.
Well, it's for us now. We get to see it. So they look great.
Yeah, exactly. See, I'm trying to. My hobby. I recently got into doing digital art just towards the beginning of February. So I've really just kind of like gone headlong into that because it makes me feel productive, but also it's relaxing, and you know I can see my skills growing, and so that's really cool. Like that gives me a lot of fulfillment.
That's awesome.
What did you use for that?
Autodesk Sketchbook. It's a PC, or not PC, desktop and mobile app. But I usually mainly use it on my phone.
Because you can get in there, and do you have like a stylus or something you use on there as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, I played with that a little bit. It's really fun. They have some that's similar to it on the Samsung tablet I have, so every now and then I'll pick that up and draw some stuff.
Yeah.
But anyways, is there any other tips you have for anybody, or even like just words of encouragement for anybody out there working from home?
Yeah, absolutely. I think you have to, and something I'm trying to work on this week. Last week was kind of a shock to the system, and so I was just
Definitely.
like gung-ho, like trying to figure everything out. So this week I'm trying to be a little more introspective in the ways that, you know, I don't know if you all subscribe to any of these things, but, you know, my love language is touch, and so not being able to do that with people right now is really hard. And so I just know that, like, everyone is kind of having their own struggles, but that might make you feel better. Everyone's, you know, dealing with it in their own way.
That's important to remember for sure.
I keep seeing, you know, the phrase "we're all in this together." You hear it everywhere, see it everywhere, but it's like, it's so true. Like, this is a moment where we're all experiencing the same thing. So
Yes, that you posted that really interesting thing this morning about grief, and I think that's so. It hit really close to home to me this morning while I was reading it, because it is. It's such a strange time. Like, that's also a word that's getting thrown around a lot. It's just weird. It's like, this thing that's affecting everyone, but we can't see it. It's not. We all have a sort of like common enemy, but it's not something that we can really do anything about other than not doing things.
Yeah,
right.
That's wild. Yeah, it is a weird thing to think about. I was thinking about that this morning. It's like, and really throughout this whole time, you get those introspective moments, but it is weird to think that we're all doing this for a reason, and it's something like really can't even see. Like, there's no way of knowing that I've ever, like, and I thought about it, like, I've washed my hands so many times. I'm like, has it ever been on me? Like, did I washed it off at any point? I don't know. It's like weird things you think about. I know it's silly, but yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Anyway.
Well, we really appreciate you taking a few minutes out of your day to talk to us.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we wish you all the best in your work from home journey. Of course, we'll stay in touch. So
For sure.
Yes, thank you so much, Clinton. I appreciate it. You have a good one.
Yeah, no problem. Y'all have a good one.
All right, so we've talked to a few different people about the way they're handling stuff at home, working from this new environment and this new setup. But we also are talking today to Austin Albany from our own Sublime Media Group. So it's good to talk to him today and see how he's kind of working from home and got all set up. How are you doing, Austin?
Doing pretty well. How are you guys?
Doing good. Doing good. Anything new and exciting in your world right now?
I think everything's new and exciting in everyone's world right now. No, I'm just taking, each day I'm just trying to wake up and stay as productive as I can throughout the day, and kind of keep our entire team on track and know what everybody's doing from home. But this is definitely uncharted territory, not only for us, but I think for everybody. So it's been a wild ride the last couple weeks for sure.
Yeah.
Yes, it has definitely been pretty crazy. But I think that at the end of all this, one good thing is that we will all finally start using Slack.
That has been something everybody's wanted for a long time. Try to, get rid of more of the pop by your office meetings and just shoot a message through Slack over to different people. And we've all been using that daily. That's worked really well. Also, just our job management portal with Trello, like everybody's staying on top of that. That's been nice. So yeah, I do think from an organizational standpoint, our entire team is finally using a lot of the different programs that we've wanted them to for a long time. So yeah, I think we are getting more organized every single day. So that's been really good.
Yeah, the cool part is we had a lot of stuff that, like, and not so much was backed up, but like we have a lot of stuff we're still working on. Like there was projects that have been shot, stuff needs to be edited, websites need to be built. And we have a lot of businesses that we work with as well that, their times are changing in this as well. So, we're having to get out graphics for them or messages. I know you've recently done some animations for some businesses as well, correct?
Yeah, we have several businesses that are still deemed essential, and, it's business as usual for them from, electrical companies or healthcare, things like that. So we've actually had not seen a shortage of new content from them for sure, and they're keeping us very busy. At the same time, we have a lot of bigger projects that we've been working on for several months, and it's been nice to see several of those actually get finished up over the last week or so. So we definitely have been staying productive and busy, and how long that will continue, I hope it's throughout the entire quarantine. But at the end of the day, it's just there's only so much work that you need to get done. But having several businesses that are essential and needing us has been good, because you still, have client emails and things with new things daily that they're needing and new messages they're needing to try to get out to their audience. So it's definitely been nice to feel needed throughout this time too by our clients, and hopefully it's been really good to provide them with new content that gets their message out there. So
yeah, I've loved all of the kind of creativity and resourcefulness that I've seen from our team, of course, but then also just other local businesses, the way that, restaurants who can't be open right now, like our friends at Hickory and Oak, they've made the decision to just close completely, but they've been doing like sales of fresh meat from local farms for the community, and the farmers markets are doing like grab and go type things. It's just, I don't know. It's really cool to see everybody be so resourceful together lately.
Speaking of that,
No, I agree.
Speaking of that, I gotta put in my order for some hamburger meat. I gotta pick up. Hopefully, there's still some reserved. Gotta cook some burgers sometime soon. But we've been talking to different people about ways they're kind of separating work from off the clock. And I know especially in your position, the clock has never really stopped sometimes, but how do you separate, when you're sitting down to work and when you're, pulling away from that and having some time just with the family?
Well, I've had a lot of like conference call meetings this week, a board I'm on, and just with clients and different things like that. And a couple of those have been really early in the morning. So starting a week, I was up as early as 7, and starting to work, and then sorry, my dog's barking, but then you go throughout the day, and I'll take a break and maybe walk around the neighborhood or play a board game with my daughter, which has been really great. Hold on,
is that Penny?
Penny, hush! Gosh, yes, my dog. She is driving me crazy. We have big windows downstairs, and everybody's out in the neighborhood, like walking around and stuff, and so they have just done nothing but bark this entire stay at home.
I'm sure you heard my dogs earlier, and it's just, yeah, there we go. There's another one.
So anyway, what I've been trying to do is just take breaks and get up and walk around, make sure I'm getting my steps in for sure, because if you don't watch it, you'll just sit for way too long, and it's really frustrating. So, but sitting for so long, so I like to get up and go and get out. But and
you have a dedicated workspace too, correct? So like that area, now it's kind of where you kind of hang out and watch movies and stuff, but also right now it's kind of turned into your office in essence, correct?
Yeah, actually, well, in my previous house I had a work at home office, but like my problem was I just worked all the time. I'm a bit of a workaholic. You don't know that about me, so I've tried my best to separate that a bit with my home life, something I've been doing over the last 6 months or so. But I brought all my work stuff home, set it up, and it's in my we have like a Lowe's area, and I've got like a television and stuff right beside me. So I'm working from here, and I brought home most footage that I needed, but it's great having a server we can all remote into to download anything we need to home. And I have really fast internet here. I've got fiber, so it's not a big deal to, like this morning I'm working on finishing up a junior achievement penguin plunge recap that you're going to post later today, Kayla. And so I had to download all that footage though from the server. I forgot to bring that home, and it only took like 10 minutes. So it was a lot of footage, but that is nice being able to access everything, that we need
it's
from home. And
yeah, it's been cool to just hop on and like we loaded up hard drives before we, moved our stuff home, obviously, and computers. But there are always something, you hop into another project and you realize you're missing a file. So it has been nice to be able to access that server for sure. It's been crucial. Sometimes, it even gives you a little bit of downtime because you just wait for it to pull over, go make a cup of coffee, do something, and then get right into work. So
yeah, for sure.
I've been trying to use this extra time that I've had to learn new skills and brush up on things. I know we made a post on our the SMG social accounts the other day, challenging folks to
just so you know, my dog's about to go crazy because the post office is like coming and dropping off a package. So
oh, there she goes.
Yeah,
I had to mute mine a second ago. Darn dogs. But so I've been learning different things. Like yesterday, I learned how to take data from a spreadsheet, and when I create a new row in a spreadsheet, it turns it into an event in Google. Like things that I never would have had like time to really focus on, in the hustle and bustle of like working in an office around people. But now I'm kind of isolated, so I can zone in on those like things.
Yeah, and ultimately those are things you're going to take with you too. So you'll be able to use those later, kind of like we're talking about using Slack and everything. We've all gotten used to that, so hopefully going forward we'll be able to be more into that. Go on, Austin. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're fine. I was going to say that what I've noticed is that, and it's typical, like anytime I work from home, I get so much more done in like a 6 to 8 hour time period than when I am at the office, because I get pulled a lot of different directions, or maybe a client stops by, or you guys have a question or something. So like I'm staying really productive here, and it's making it to where at night, like at 5 o'clock, I'm saying you're not going to your computer again, because if I don't watch it, I'll just live here, and I want to like try to do fun things with my family and take advantage of this time as well. But like Kayla was saying with learning new things, we just put out an infographic for the BG Warren County work group. And, there were some animations in that I challenged myself on. I wanted to have some hands kind of wash like this and soap suds build on it, and while water was hitting for one of the graphics. And so that took a little bit of effort and time, but it was cool to create that. And I learned a few different animation tricks through that. I hope through this too to continue getting. I've been pushing myself to get better in Illustrator, because I'm kind of like, from my news days, I'm really bad about wanting to use Photoshop for graphics and logos and stuff. And so just because there's a few things in Illustrator that are a little more time consuming, and so that's a program that I've definitely tried to use more of throughout all this. And After Effects, I want to continue to grow there, because I do think it's really important to use this time to learn something new. And like Kayla was saying, when this is all over, have a new tool you can have, add to the tool chest and run with. So. Yeah,
exactly. I'm glad to hear you're using Illustrator more. I know you were good in Illustrator, but it's nice to know that it's more in your tool belt now than it was.
Yeah, for sure. I like logos. I've always done in Illustrator for the most part, but like if I was laying out like a brochure or something, I just move around so much faster in Photoshop. So I would typically use that, but. We just did a brochure for Kids on the Block, and I did the entire thing in Illustrator. So that was, as Will would know, that was new territory for me with that type of project. So.
Yeah, I'm working on some stuff for the rail park right now, and I usually have been building stuff in Photoshop and then like just pulling in full pages into InDesign for any kind of print projects. Frankie's like stretching behind me. But I've actually kind of challenged myself just to build natively in InDesign. So like if there's a graphic or something, like they had a train icon they wanted made, I had to make that in Illustrator. But then from there, I'm building the whole document in InDesign, which ultimately makes it easier, because if something has to change, I'm not editing a Photoshop page and then linking that to the InDesign document. So yeah, it is interesting that you're able to take this time to work on your workflow and figure out better ways to do things.
Which most graphic designers, if they were hearing this, would probably be like, "Oh, why are they doing it that way?" You and I both. I mean, we kind of learned graphic design over the years out of like necessity,
yeah.
Right? And so we've always just kind of figured out what worked and did it. But I mean, how many things, like from posters to brochures to business cards, logos, I mean, between us, we've done hundreds for clients. And so it's funny that, at this point, it's like, well, let's do it the way you're supposed to do it. What we've been trying to do lately. So,
but it's good.
It's good stuff.
So we've kind of just been asking everybody this. I guess, do you have any like one thing that's been really working for you, working from home, as like just something that keep you on track, or?
I was actually working at the office as of Friday of last week, so I'm only on like day 4 of doing this. And you guys all know this, but like my daughter, when she was little, she was sick a lot because she was a premature baby. So I worked from home a lot, like the first year that she was born, because I'd have to stay home with her to let my wife go to work. So this feels kind of just like that, like, oh, she's sick with something, so I'm home for a week. Like I haven't really gotten into the, like, okay, this is driving me nuts and I've got to figure out things, to do to keep me occupied yet. That being said, I really feel like just forcing yourself to take breaks and going and doing something for a bit that takes your mind off of being cooped up or being at your workspace will be very beneficial. And I think, too, just going for a walk or something, doing something physical, like exercise-wise is really smart in this time, because if not, just sit around, body's going to feel all achy from just standing in your chair all the time or whatever. So I really think that will be a big part of my game plan over the next few weeks. So
yes, I need to be better about getting out and moving around more. Ugh.
I'm trying to keep track of my steps, and I've had at least over 10,000 every day this week so far. So I had one day that was like 25, which is nuts, but I mowed, so it was,
How are you? I mean, I know you pace, but like, how are you keeping up that many
like,
steps?
If I get on a phone call, I'm on my phone, so it tracks it, but I'll just like pace around the house.
And you don't have me to like yell at you from the other room, be like, Austin, stop pacing. So
no. I try to, like, if I go out and walk, I try to do 3 or 4 miles, or I'll run or something, so it keeps track of that, too. So that adds to it. But, yeah, when I get on a phone call, I have a hard time sitting in a chair. I'll just, like, walk laps around my living room or something. So I'm crazy.
Do you have any fun dishes you've been cooking from home?
No, well, as you all know, I kind of quit eating meat about 3 months ago for the most part. I do a little bit of fish, but my triglycerides had been a little nuts, which we all joke about. But so for me, it's been more of just like trying not to want to, like, I don't know, eat hamburgers or something like that. Because usually I stress eat, and I'll get, like, when I'm bored, I'll find ways to just, eat food, I guess. So we're gonna grill out tonight. I know that. I'm gonna do like probably some kind of like corn on the cob and some fish item, and then I'll do like burgers or chicken or something for Megan and Bryn. And my dogs are going nuts again. Sorry about that. But,
Kayla, any cooking plans for you tonight? I know you've been cooking a lot on Instagram and everything too.
So everybody, I've been doing like in my personal Instagram story, just like kind of cooking guides because I have nothing else to do at night now. And the last one that people voted for next is carbonara, which I've never made it before, but I also don't have like guanciale or pancetta, and I feel like making bacon carbonara is like low rent, but I don't know. We'll see.
No, bacon carbonara is not low rent. You can easily, especially in this, especially in the current situation, just like fry it a little bit longer. Chop it up into little pieces beforehand and fry it in the pan. And I never use guanciale in my carbonara. You don't have to get... I know it's the foodie in you that really wants to like do it the right way, but that's part of the fun of it. You got to like figure out the workarounds,
Adapt.
Monday we did do we did Parmesan crusted tilapia, baked asparagus, and some mashed red potatoes, and that was one meal we did that was pretty nice. So but yeah, definitely eating at home more, cooking more, which is good. And I mean, we ate out last night. We got some takeout from a local Mexican restaurant we both really like. So that was awesome.
Yeah, I had delivery from Mariah's last night, and it was so good. I even got the bread pudding, because why not?
Yeah.
I saw a Double Dogs ad yesterday, and I was just like, oh, but I know that's just a lot of meat, you know what I mean? But I was like, that looks so good, all those wings and like, French fries and miss it in the big dog bowl or whatever. So
well, y'all are making me hungry for lunch.
Yeah, it's about lunchtime right now, but we just kind of wanted to wrap this up. For anybody who has stuck around and watched the whole video, just so you know, this has been shot over a number of days. So in the beginning, we might have talked about only being 3 days into this quarantine, and now it's been like about a week and a half. So we're all staying busy and finding stuff to do, and this is just kind of fit in where it can, and we're happy to bring it to y'all. So we hope that you enjoyed this, and we hope you're having a fun time working from home and making it work.
Yeah, the only thing well, sorry, Kayla, you can
go ahead.
I was just going to say, I just want to throw in, like, everybody needs to be safe right now, and definitely try to just do what what we're being asked to do so we can get through this quicker, and hopefully, have just the fewer people get sick possible, because at the end of the day, we all want to be back to business as usual, but the longer that we don't do what's being asked, the longer this is going to last. So that's just, the only thing I wanted to throw out there. So
yeah, it is.
I was going to say, wash your hands.
Yeah.
Watch Andy Bashir every day at 5 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Central. And I'm going to also add subscribe to On the Line in there.
Yeah.
I've checked out every episode. I'm a big fan. And you guys should too. It's really good stuff. So.
Yeah, we've got a new episode coming out with, we're hopefully releasing this. I'm hoping this is Friday when you're seeing this released in your feed. Just saying. Mm-hmm. But this coming Tuesday, we will have Lindsay Sanson on, Lindsay Sanson McLean, I believe. We're entitling that episode. So that'll be good to talk to her. Is a really good conversation. So look forward to getting that to you.
She is awesome.
And we actually have quite a few. Like we said, we're always keeping stuff ready. So we have plenty of episodes taped. So don't worry about a lack of episodes. We got episodes coming your way. So go ahead and like and subscribe and drop us a rating if you get the chance.
Yeah. And we'll tease a few of the people coming up that we've already got in the can, because I know we got some really good guests. So.
Yeah, we've got Bartley Weaver, and we've got Jim Madison. And
his was all.
Yeah, we've also got
Marshall
Atkinson as well. Just to name a few. I think.
Yeah, just so everybody knows, Marshall's who I travel with, and we produce a series for jerseys and Fruit of the Loom called Adventures in Apparel Decorating. And Marshall is a really good self-marketer, and he's kind of built a brand he calls a business coach, but he's a consultant. A lot of people that work in the print industry, and so he is a wealth of knowledge. And I think that'll be a really cool episode. And Bartley, obviously, he's an entrepreneur. He has several brands that
Dreamweaver Fit.
Just really interesting guy if you don't know him. And then Jim Madison. What's the name of his print company now? He was with Print Mafia for a long time, right?
You're going to put Print Destroyer. Print Destroyer is what he's currently, and he does a lot of different stuff with different venues in Nashville, and he does a lot of artwork through his Patreon, and he's even a Ratfink licensed artist now. So I know he's really into that right now. So we talked to a lot about that.
Well, back when I was in high school and college, we would always hit him up to even do our band shirts. So this is how long I've known Jim, and he is just an incredible artist. I mean, all the bands he's worked with, and cool to hear him talk about all that. So
for sure.
Anyway,
yes.
Well,
Absolutely.
Well, thank you for coming on with us for the end of this, Austin, and it was good talking to you.
Pleasure.
And for everybody who watched, thank you for watching, and we look forward to bringing you more content. Wash your hands.
Yeah. See y'all later. Bye.
Bye.